Hey guys, it's ShanChan, and today I want to make another message talking about conjugations. So when I made my first video, I had just started his series, and I was really excited about being able to learn casual Japanese, but I didn't know what my actual thoughts on his course were going to be, really, because I hadn't finished the course. So I probably should have waited to make that video, but now that I have finished the course, and because everyone is talking about him and saying that he runs a scam, I wanted to write my honest opinion about his course. Now, the scam that they're talking about, he was trying to get people to enroll in that part of the course, which you have to pay even more money to be part of, when I was taking the regular course. He tried to get people to apply for it by saying that he was going to give them one-on-one tutoring, and I don't know exactly what all they're saying about him, but I've heard a lot of he didn't communicate the way that he promised to communicate, and that he took our money and he didn't teach us. There might be other things, but that's what I've heard. And I can't speak to that because I didn't enroll in that and I didn't do that. But what I can tell you about is the regular course, what I paid for, what I got, and what I thought of the program. So that's what I'm going to try and do in this video. So I'm going to list the pros of the course, then the cons of the course, and then my overall conclusion. Is that he had downloadable audio lessons that I could put on my phone and take anywhere with me. And I found this very helpful, but mostly because it allowed me to study on my break at work, on my lunch period, anytime that I was waiting in the doctor's office or anything like that. Just anywhere I was that I had an extra minute, I could study for a minute. And it allowed me to hear Japanese, not just be studying out of a book, but to hear Japanese every single day, and for like more actual hours out of the day. So that was one big pro. Then there was printouts of the lesson and printouts of the audio lesson, and that helped me to quiz myself to see if I was actually retaining the information. He also led me to a program called Rikachan. If you don't know what Rikachan is, it's like this awesome program that you can install, and then you can go to Japanese websites where you can't understand what they're saying, and you hold your mouse over the Japanese and it will translate it for you. And you can highlight text and it'll translate just that one part, or it'll tell you what one specific kanji means. So I use Rikachan a lot now. So, I'm really excited that he was able to lead me to that software. He increased my vocabulary and taught me some verb conjugations. There were some verb conjugations that I had not been able to learn from my book studies or from my classroom study at AB Tech that he taught me, that regular traditional classroom settings would have waited a whole lot longer to introduce me to. He taught me to do free association writing. I got a blank journal, and every day before I went to bed, I would write in Japanese. Some in Romanji, some in katakana hiragana, just anything and everything that I could pull out of my head to think of that was Japanese that I could write down. It made me actually remember what I had learned, and surprised me at how much I remembered and how much I knew. It really encouraged me to keep going and keep learning. He has this technique where you're supposed to watch an anime in English and then immediately turn around and watch it in Japanese, and he says your brain will put two and two together, and when you're watching the Japanese you will kind of remember what it is they're saying because you just listened to it in English, and therefore you'll associate the vocab and get the meaning of vocab, and your brain will automatically process some of the grammar. Maybe this worked for him, but it didn't seem to help me that much. I did it a lot, but I only picked up on those things that a lot of people pick up on, like daijoubu, you know, oishi, kawaii, like all those things that most people know anyway. I wasn't really getting a whole lot of vocabulary. Studying anime episode transcripts with their translations, and he gave us resources on where we could go to get those transcripts and translations. But sometimes there was grammar that we hadn't yet studied, so I couldn't really understand why one thing meant the other thing, and I would just kind of get vocab out of it. He told me to go to forums and find like questions where people were like, what does this mean? Or how do you say that in Japanese? And to answer those and to help them translate. But I found that a lot of them, by the time I could find the forum and find the question, somebody else had already answered it. And if you looked at all the answers, the one that they actually listened to was somebody that was a native speaker. They didn't care what anybody studying Japanese told them it actually meant. At first, I got a good response on his site's forum. People were really good at answering, they were really friendly, but the more I went into the lessons and the longer I was on the site, the less and less that they actually answered me. I just couldn't get any help with questions that I had. I got a virus on my computer during the course of my study, and I ran the antivirus software, and it said that the source of the virus was the Anki software that he used for his electronic flashcards. So I had to uninstall it, so I wasn't able to do the electronic flashcards, and I tried doing the paper ones, but that didn't work out real well. So I ended up getting index cards and making my own flashcards. But yeah, that was just kind of inconvenient, and I didn't think that maybe he should have chose that program. There are other programs out there that do that. So finally, my conclusion. I found that there were exactly 5 cons and 5 pros, the exact same amount. So there were good things about it and there were bad things about it, and it kind of equaled out. But also, the greatest thing that this program really did was it got me to study every single day. But that was a choice that I made, and I could have done that with any program. It didn't have to be Kincannon. So that's not a promotion for his particular program. I try to see the good in everything. I know that I learned a few things from him. I know that I only paid a discounted rate for the course because he was offering it at this low price. But even still, given the small amount of things that I learned and the cons that I had and the techniques that didn't work for me, I don't feel like the amount of content that I got justified the amount that I was paying. Instead of all at once, I had to pay for it in bits and pieces because it was so expensive that was the only way I could afford to pay for it. And given the fact that I've been done with his course for a while, and the fact that there's no university nearby that offers courses in Japanese, I've had to find a new way to study. And the way that I'm doing it is through an online course, and it is a paid thing, but it is a much better program. So I'm going to be doing a video later on what that program is. So just keep watching for that video. Okay, you guys, until next time, bye-bye!